So, having trouble putting your hitch on your motorcycle hitch? Actually, this applies to any hitch. So, problem is, this sucker's jammed up in there. I pop it loose. It takes a big screwdriver to pry this out of there. And then once, of course, you get it on your ball, you're screwed, because now it's jammed up in there and you got to beat the heck out of the whole thing. So how did this happen? This thing didn't come like this. These things pop right on down, man. If I had any guts, any brains, I would have showed you the pre-condition, but that's pretty much it. So I jammed it out of there. I'm looking in there. It's like, what the heck could be the problem? We're looking in here. This looks like a little, I'm just trying to beat that out. It's a little, oh, wait a minute. Why would that be squeezed down like that? It's staring you right in the face. Somebody put safety chains on your hitch here. That's swell, but you know what? They didn't put a spacer in there to keep that apart. So when he tightened down this nice, beautiful stainless bolt, he unscrews it together. And you would think once you do that, and you realize you can't take your get your trailer hitched on your haul, that you'd figure out whatever you just did was a problem, but apparently did not. So you can see that thing's jammed up. Before I put that back in there, I'm either going to have to put a lock nut on it so I don't have to worry about putting a lock washer on it, or put a spacer in there the proper width so that this cannot crush down. So I gotta get this loosened up and we'll see what happens. It may just open up all by its own. Alright, so I loosened that nut, but alas, it's not quite enough to allow it to get up in there. It still squoze, and you can tell that it still squoze because see that gap? That's how much it has to come out. That means that's how much it squoze. So we're gonna did on the other side too. That one I gotta loosen that one up too. I don't know if it's gonna make a difference, but once I loosen that up, take all tension, I'm going to stick a big bar in here and a hammer and smack on it. Sorry. Smack on it and see if I can spread it out. Lo and behold, I loosened up the back bolt. Jeez, I'm looking in here. It's just a skinny little aluminum channel. Gotta take it easy. It doesn't need much of a load here. So, guess what? Took care of it. Jeez, I did it again. Sorry. Look at that. So all I gotta do, I can put this back together. This is something okay. What I'm gonna do before I do that, I really can't get to that back one, but I'm gonna find a see if I can find a bushing, sort of like that bushing right there, to go there to keep this end from scrunching. You know, snug up these things, and they really need to have lock nuts on them so that they don't have to squeeze to tighten up. I'll have to do that. I'll have to put some longer bolts in there with the lock nuts to do it right. Yep, if that didn't solve itself, I was about to pull this thing off there because I already got this. That's taking care of it. So next thing is going to be find a bushing that long. You see how those things are scrunched in. Find a bushing that long or longer, because this is scrunched in. Maybe I'll get a little longer one and tap it in there and push these out where they belong. And with a spacer in there, that should be good. I should be able to tighten it up. And of course, if I put a longer bolt with a lock nut on it, definitely be able to tighten it up right. But that little bushing will keep that from crushing. Alright, guess that's the next job. Okay, so, well, I didn't get a bushing. What I used was a piece of fuel hose. It's the right ID. Stuck it in there. It won't really matter because I'm going to replace this nut with a fiber lock nut. Even if I have to put a longer bolt in there, that's the proper way to do it. Stainless hardware with a stainless fiber lock nut. That piece of hose will work good enough to just to give it some push back so it won't squeeze down. And the fiber lock nut, all you gotta do is snug it up And as long as the threads stick 1 to 3 threads through the bolt, through the nut I mean, you're good to go. That'll stay on there, it won't back up. So what I achieved, and I had to change this around, they had put the little spring on the top and the string back. So now, I gotta keep what I want them doing. Now it opens up perfectly delightful. And that's what you want. So there you have it. The proper way to do it is put a bushing of some sort inside there if you're gonna do it like this. Use stainless bolts and use some lock nuts on them. That way you don't have to squeeze the heck out of this thing. The back one's squeezed. You can see it's just a little channel there. Chrome piece of channel. There's not a lot of structure. There's not a lot of structure to this trailer. So the hitch doesn't have to be that strong. So anyway, there you go. If you run into that situation, if you're going to put some safety change on any trailer hitch like that, you got to keep that in mind so you don't screw up. And when all of a sudden it does start screwing up, retrace what you're doing, because that's probably what did it. All right, there you go.